Once upon a time, in a very small village, the people were forbidden from drinking from a certain river that passed through their village into the evil forest. One day, a man named Adesanya rose up and rebelled against the villagers, saying that their tradition only forbids them from drinking from the river because it was a very powerful river. Adesanya went on to tell the villagers that the water from the river could heal all kinds of diseases, and at the time he had swellings all over his body as he suffered from a deadly disease. Adesanya told the villagers that he would prove to them that he was right by drinking from the river, as he believed the river was the antidote to his healing. All the villagers gathered around the river to watch Adesanya as he drank a calabash filled with the river water. Immediately he drank the water, the swellings on his body disappeared, and some villagers, on seeing this, jumped in to drink the water. They believed that all their ailments would be healed, but to their greatest surprise, this was not the case. Their stomachs began to grow profusely, and the villagers screamed frantically in fear and disbelief. The attention of the village leader was drawn to what was happening, and all efforts to reverse what just happened failed, and the people believed that the gods were now angry. The village leader, unsure of what to do, banished Adesanya and the other villagers with swollen stomachs to the evil forest. Since that day, no one from the village drank from the cursed river, as anyone who dared was exiled to the evil forest. In the same village lived a girl named Adenike. Adenike was the daughter of the popular village hunter. She was the only female hunter in the village who followed in the footsteps of her father. One day, Adenike was out hunting in the forest when she came across a strange girl. At first, she was reluctant to go close to the girl, but something urged her to confirm if the girl was okay. Adenike approached the strange girl and noticed that she was gasping for breath. She took the girl home and gave her some food and water, and the girl relaxed. When her father returned home that night, he was shocked to see a strange girl in his home. He asked his daughter who the girl was, and Adenike narrated how she stumbled on the girl alone in the forest. For days, the strange girl lived with Adenike and her father and soon began to talk. She spoke in a very strange language that they could not understand, so Adenike and her father concluded that the strange girl could have come from a distant land. They agreed to let her stay with them till they could figure out where she had come from. Every day, when Adenike went hunting, the strange girl followed, and Adenike noticed that she was unable to catch any animals. This was unusual, as she never returned home without a game. So one night, Adenike saw the strange girl sneaking away from their hut. She wondered where the girl was heading and decided to secretly follow her. After a short while, they arrived at the forest, and Adenike noticed a glow in the girl's hands. Suddenly, all the animals in the forest began to surround the strange girl, and they started to communicate in a strange way. Is she really speaking with animals? Adenike thought to herself as she rushed back home in fear. Not long afterwards, the strange girl returned and met Adenike discussing with her father. She smiled at them as she went into her little corner to sleep. Adenike and her father could not sleep as they were scared of the stranger they let into their home. By morning, Adenike and her father woke up very early to go hunting. Her father decided to go deep into the forest whilst Adenike went to hunt around the forbidden river. She got to the side of the river and noticed that the water was drying up. This had never happened before, so Adenike panicked as she rushed into the forest to look for her father. She wandered around the forest for a few minutes and then noticed that the animals had surrounded her from behind. She was frightened and began to scream. Her father heard her screams from afar and began to follow the sound. By the time he got there, his daughter Adenike was nowhere to be found. All he saw was her yellow bracelet laying on the floor. Adenike's father was so worried and began to search the whole forest. He searched and searched and searched, but Adenike was nowhere to be found. He returned home and noticed that the strange girl had also gone. This made him so worried as he feared for his daughter's safety. Her screams still rang in his head, making his heart race. He rushed to the village leader's hut to report his daughter's disappearance. He told the village leader about the strange girl who could speak to animals, but the village leader did not believe him. He told Adenike's father to return home and wait for his daughter to return. But Adenike's father could not stand losing his daughter, so he kept searching for her. He wandered around the village and decided to search the forest once again. Whilst in the forest, he felt a cool breeze brush against his neck. He turned and saw an old woman who told him that she knew where his daughter Adenike was. The old woman stated that Adenike was safe, but that she had to be taken by the guardians of the forbidden river. The old woman then began to tell Adenike's father a story. She said that a few years ago, a woman named Taye lived by the riverside with her twin sister Kehinde. They were both close and shared everything together. They dressed alike, had the same voice, and even made the same hairstyles. The sisters looked so identical that the villagers found it difficult to tell one sister from the other. One day, Kehinde met a very handsome man named Biodun who loved her deeply. Taye grew jealous of her sister's newfound love and began to feel resentment towards her. One morning, Taye told her sister Kehinde to sit with her by the riverside as she washed some dirty clothing. Before Kehinde knew what was happening, Taye pushed her into the river, knowing that she could not swim. Kehinde struggled as she descended into the depths of the river. What Taye did not know was that her twin sister Kehinde was pregnant. As Kehinde struggled in the depths, she cursed the river and whoever shall drink of it. She did this because she knew that the river was her sister's only source of water. Not long after, Taye drank the water and died of the curse. Since then, the river remained cursed, as anyone who drank of its water suffered grave consequences. Adenike's father nodded his head in fear and amazement, as this was the first time he was hearing of how the curse came upon the forbidden river. Adenike's father then asked the old woman how his daughter Adenike came into the whole story. The old woman revealed to him that Adenike was the daughter of Kehinde, the twin that almost drowned in the river. The old woman revealed that Kehinde was not actually dead, as the guardians of the forbidden river saved her life and that of her unborn baby. Kehinde, after being rescued, lived in the forest. As she stopped aging, she remained the same for so many years and feared that the people would notice. So she decided to live amongst the animals instead and soon became the guardian of the forest. All these years, Kehinde had secretly watched over her daughter Adenike, but stayed away as she could not stand watching her daughter age while she remained young. The only problem was that she was unable to break the curse she placed on the river alone, as the curse was pronounced when she was pregnant. What this meant was that the curse could only be broken by her daughter and herself. This was the reason why the guardians of the Forbidden River took Adenike to meet her mother Kehinde so that they could break the curse together and avoid the river from drying up completely. The old woman revealed that the river was drying up because of the curse, and once the river dries up completely, people will die, especially those who drank from the river. Adenike's father, on hearing this, immediately remembered how he found Adenike as a baby on one beautiful morning during his hunt. She was wrapped and kept on a grass, where he caught sight of her and felt an instant connection and decided to take her home. Adenike's father pleaded with the old woman to allow him see his daughter, and the old woman told him that Adenike would return after the curse had been broken. Adenike's father then went home but could not shake off the feeling that his daughter might still be in danger. So he decided to visit the forbidden river and caught sight of people gathered around the river. There was a bit of a commotion there, so he hastened his steps to go see what the commotion was all about. Lo and behold, he saw the people gathering around his daughter, Adenike, accusing her of being cursed because she drank from the river. What happened was that after Adenike and her mother broke the curse, Adenike then decided to drink from the river to be certain that the curse had been broken, when some people caught sight of her and surrounded her. Soon the crowd increased and the attention of the village leader was drawn to the situation as people began to chant that Adenike was cursed and should be banished into the evil forest. As they were chanting, a great wind blew and lifted Adenike above everyone present. A great voice then began to speak, saying to the people that Adenike was the savior they had been waiting for all this while. The great voice told the people that the river was no longer cursed and that Adenike was behind the lifting of the curse. The village leader then asked the voice to prove that Adenike was indeed not cursed, and immediately the almost dry river began to overflow with water, and the people's eyes shone in amazement. The strong wind then dropped Adenike down as she told the people that the river was now the fountain of healing. She pleaded with the village leader to reinstate the villagers that he banished, as the water from the river could now heal them of their swollen stomachs. The village leader did as Adenike said, and when the people returned, they were indeed healed. Their stomachs were no longer protruding and their sicknesses gone. That was how the once cursed river became the fountain of healing, whose waters healed the deadliest of diseases. The people all respected Adenike for how she rescued them from the curse that once plagued their river. The lesson to be learned from this story is that jealousy and resentment can lead to devastating consequences. The story also highlights the importance of unity, as individuals working together can bring about transformative changes. Also, try not to follow the crowd in whatever you do, as you do not know if you are going into your doom. I hope you enjoyed the story.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.